Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today I'll be setting up the month of December in my bullet journal, but first we're gonna have a little flip through of November. November had a lot of ups and downs. I don't know if you can tell by my mental health tracker there, but it was a long ride and I'm ready for December because I'm getting my cat this month and I'm super excited about it, so let's go. The first thing I did was my cover page. I've kind of stopped using a quote page because I find that I don't look at it enough to really justify doing it. So though I do like how it looks when it turns out and it's fun to practice lettering, I like doing the full cover page with just the month name on it and a theme. So this month I asked my mom for a theme because I asked my mom everything. And she said you should do joy as a theme, and I was like, well, I was considering doing words as a theme for my bullet journal next year, so every month the theme would be a word, but I said not this year, so I don't want to do joy, so what should I do? And then she said, oh well, you should do warm things and just draw sweaters and scarves and stuff. So that's what I went with, and the first thing I did was this sweater cover page, and I tried to mimic what a hand knit sweater would look like. I'm a fiber artist myself, so I wanted to really make it have texture in it that looks like knitting because it's a lot of work to knit a sweater. I've tried it before and I gave up once I had to do the sleeves, so I wanted to make sure that this one got finished and this one looks cool. This sweater took a long time to color in. It made my hand cramp up so many times, but I had to keep going because once you start putting texture into something, you can't really just switch to like scribbling it in. And these were watercolor pencils, so they were kind of pale when I first put them down, but eventually I got out the water and the brush and I went over them and the stitches really popped. So I might just fast forward to that and then you can see how it looks like after I put water. Also, sorry for my head in the frame. When I was picking a color scheme, I didn't want to just do red and green, and I also didn't want to just rely on like dark maroon because I saw that Amanda Rach Lee did that and I don't want to like copy what her theme is. So this color scheme that I picked is kind of like gold and dark colors, so I picked out a certain set of washi tape and they're all kind of that dark maroon color, but I also have like a dark green with Christmas trees and a like dark blue hexagon one, and I also really wanted to use my gold gel pen a lot because I was finding myself drawing a lot of teacups because tea is a warm thing and my theme is warm, so of course I've got to draw tea, but I kind of drew like 3 or 4 teacups and I wanted them all to have gold rims on them, like the kind of teacup that if you put in the microwave your house is gonna explode, that kind of teacup. So I was pulling out my gel pen and just coloring in the tops of all of these little teacups, and I actually think that I like this color scheme a lot with the dark colors and the gold, and it is kind of festive without being too in your face. And that was a big jump. I bet you can tell that I colored in a bunch of the watercolor and the gold gel pen, but I really don't want this video to be half an hour long, so I kind of skipped a few places and now I'm just showing you. I shaded in with black, which is like an art no-no, you're really not supposed to do that, but I was like, you know, I just want it to be a little bit more contrasting at the point where the sweater would be overlapping itself, so I shaded with black. Go ahead and sue me. Please don't, actually, I don't have that much money. But yeah, this actually took me about 50 minutes to do this whole cover page, and it was actually really relaxing, and I haven't had much time to do something that's relaxing for me recently, so this was a nice welcome change. It was a real pain though to get in between all those little smoke letters that I made. I tried to spell out with the environment like I have been doing the past few months, and it was just full of really tiny, like swirly organic shapes, and it was really hard to get in there, but we got it done. It's fine. If you want to do this, I suggest maybe making your mug a little bit wider so that you have more space to work within, but other than that, I like how this turned out, and I'm gonna just cut to when it's finished. So here it is, the finished cover page, and I thought it was kind of missing something around the border there, but I really didn't want to do any more watercolor, so I got out my snowflake stickers and I just went to town putting them all over the border, and this is how it turned out. And then of course you can't just have an empty mug to make you warm. You have to fill it with tea or coffee or hot chocolate or something like that. So I put in this ambiguous brown liquid just so that the little vapor letters would have something to come out of, and that was my cover page. On to my habit tracker and sleep and social media tracker. I've noticed that every month I change this up at least a little bit, which is kind of weird. I don't really have a certain way of doing my bullet journal. I just know that I have a cover page, a habit tracker, and then some type of challenge or multiple types of challenges. And I'm actually thinking of making a video detailing the topic of why would you put that in your habit tracker, or why would you track that? Because in a lot of Facebook groups I'm in, people are feeling bad because they have to track things that other people don't, and I think it would just be nice to make a video so people can understand that not everyone's lives are the same and everyone has different challenges that can contribute to what makes it hard to do certain things. So yeah, that's what I'll be making pretty soon. So to contribute with the warm theme, I'm kind of drawing in a scarf. I originally wanted to draw in a lot more scarves, but the method that I used to color them was just filling them with washi tape, as you can see here, and this takes a long time, so I didn't really want to do a ton of scarves. I'm also experimenting with ripping my washi tape more because I was listening to the Uncurated Life podcast, and I'll put a link in the description for that, but one of the guests on there was talking about how she never cuts her washi tape, she just rips it because she likes the feeling of that, and I was like, maybe I would like the feeling of that, so I'm trying it out. So far it looks pretty cool, but I don't know that I like it more than clean cut washi. It's something to play with, I guess. And as I said last month, I'm not really going to be tracking when I'm asleep just because it's a little difficult for me, and it does keep track of it on my Fitbit, so I'm just keeping track of my bedtime, my mental health, and whether I post on social media, which is actually, I've been kind of lacking at doing that this month, so hopefully next month will be a lot better, and I'll get to see when I posted on this little graph. Then for my regular old habit tracker, I just have a section for medicine, a section for my morning routine, my eating habits, and my bedtime routine. And then there's also a couple little extra things like talking to my long distance boyfriend and doing my lettering challenge. And if you thought I was done with the stickers, you're wrong, because I have a lot of winter stickers because I won a giveaway a while back, and I'm still going through all of the stickers that this lady gave me. And a couple that I really love are these little bears and penguins, and they kind of have a studying theme, which is kind of relevant because I'm in college, but I tried to pick some that weren't about studying just to make it these little penguins and bears are cheering me on and saying, yeah, you can do it, you can brush your teeth twice a day. More on that in my Why Would You Track That video. Now we're going to be setting up my lettering page, and I'm using another little card this time, and I actually didn't attach it with washi tape. I just used regular Scotch tape, and it kind of works because it keeps it neutral, which is nice because I don't really have many washi tapes that are in the theme I was using, the color scheme, so I didn't really want to use one to tape it down, so it's just kind of neutral. And it does have gold on it, so that helps with the theme also. After I did my title for the page, I wanted to draw a warm worm, which is the hardest thing to say, but the cutest thing I've ever drawn. And I can't remember if my mom said this or I said this when we were talking about the theme, but I definitely knew I wanted at least one. So there he is, and he might be enjoying a cup of hot chocolate, we don't know. But he's there for the long haul when I'm doing my lettering challenge. And after I finish coloring in this teacup, I just drew a scarf, and I'm filling it with washi tape again. And this one was a struggle because I wasn't estimating where the tape was going correctly, so I had to redo a couple bits, and my head got in the way as always, but we got there in the end. I did cut through a bunch of the coloring on this page because it was just taking up a lot of time with that little gel pen with a tiny nib. But here you can see I'm coloring the little worm, and he's so happy about it. I might make him some type of mascot or something, and I don't know, I just really love this little guy. And I tried to shade him in with a pen I thought was the right color, but it wasn't, so I just had to turn it into shading, and he turned out okay. He's looking good. And then I just went and did a drop shadow for my title, and I went through with a golden gel pen, my trusty gold gel pen, and I just put a little shiny bit on it, which is kind of the opposite of how it would look. It would probably not be like that if it was like a real letter, but you know, this is my bullet journal. I can do what I want. That's rule number 1. And for that little teacup in the corner, I decided to torture myself even more, and I had to bring out the X-Acto knife and put little strips of washi tape on it and then cut around it, which I've actually seen people do this for a washi tree. I don't know that I'll be doing a washi tree in my planner or bullet journal this month, but if it works, it works, and this is the same technique that they use for that, and it's just filling up the area with the tape instead of coloring it, and I think it worked pretty well. The next part of this footage is where I accidentally show a secret page, but it's enough that I can leave it in. And then we're going to work on my best and worst of the day spread. I think this one is something that I will keep doing for the next year because it actually did help me gauge how much my mental health was impacted by the events of my day. And it was helpful to see like, oh, well, if I couldn't think of something that was really bad for the worst part of the day, then I was probably having a better day than when I had something like my laptop wasn't working for the whole day. That probably negatively impacted me. And yeah, I'm also really proud of this cursive on the top of these pages. As you know, last month I was practicing cursive as my lettering challenge, and I think it really did help me. Even though every day when I do make progress, I can't really tell what it is, but I think it did actually help me a lot, so I like how those turned out. And finally, my last bout of washi torture, I decided that instead of putting the stickers over the washi, I was going to put the washi in last and have to cut it a million times. So yeah, that happened. And after I added the washi, I realized there wasn't really a top border to it, and I like my pages to have a border when I can. So I just took my inkjoy gel pen in this like magenta color, and I just made like connecting every other set of dots, so it kind of looks like stitching, but most importantly, it gives me like a starting point for day 1. And yeah, I like how this page turned out, even though it's kind of empty. That's how these spreads kind of are. And now for the flip through of the whole month this month, here's the cover page, habit tracker, lettering spread with a little card, and my best and worst. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel. If you want to share it with your friends, I would greatly appreciate that. And leave a like if you enjoyed it. Bye!